what about having body hair down there? When men tell women like they love them and the I love yous are exchanged, is it safe to assume does sexual history play a role in your in a man's decision to be with somebody? Hey family, welcome back to On Cloud Lindsay. I'm Rashida.
And I'm Adrian.
And today we have a little treat for you guys. Actually, I don't know if it's really a treat, but
well, I don't think it's a treat for me.
But so we've been seeing this. Well, I've been seeing this trend going, or video trend going around, asking your partner questions that asking your partner questions that like men questions, things that only men can answer, so we can kind of have like a man's perspective on some things that we kind of want to know, right? So
that is it. Did I go do?
Yes, yes, because you know we have like a lot of our family members are women, and maybe we got some questions that, you know, some things that we want to know from a man's point of view.
Okay.
Don't be nervous. It's not bad questions. It's good questions, good stuff. So I've compiled a list of questions. If there are questions that you want to ask him, please comment down below, and we will definitely do a second part to include your questions.
We're going to do a part 2 already.
Just in case, if I haven't touched on it, you have some questions and I have not touched on it, just write them down below in the comments, and we will definitely do a part 2. Also, it's a good opportunity for our family that's men, single men, or, you know, if there's some things that you want to know about women, you're not sure, you can always put them in the comments too, and we can do a video and I'll answer them.
Oh, you'll answer them?
Yeah, I'll answer them.
Okay,
You were gonna answer women questions? You're about to answer some women questions?
Well, I'm married, so I know about you.
Okay, well, fair enough. Well,
alright, let's get into it.
Yes. Okay, so
wait, let me breathe that word. God, do not make sure ask me no foolishness.
Okay, so just a disclaimer. No, there's not. It's not. Oh, no. I think, babe, a lot of these questions will be answered from obviously a marriage perspective.
Okay.
But some of them might be also from your single days. So you might have to. I know it's been a while since you've been single, and I know you never had a life outside of me. So it might.
To hear these things.
It might be hard, but try.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
All right, so let me see. I'll start with something very easy. What do you, or what do other men, well, I'll say you, what do you think about wearing makeup?
What?
How do you feel about women who wear makeup?
Oh, for a moment I thought you were asking me what do I feel about me wearing makeup. I think it's okay, but I don't like when it's too much. it takes away from your natural beauty. So I don't really like too much makeup.
Okay. All right. So keeping in that, how about how young women or girls dress, especially on social media? So, you know, like a lot of times we see on like Facebook or Instagram, mainly Instagram, like a lot of girls are like scantily clad and stuff like that. And I think some women feel like it's a way to attract men. So as a man looking at that, what do you think?
You know what I think already.
Well, this is not for me. This is for the people.
You know what I think. Guys, if you've been following the videos, you'll notice what my wife wears. She wears long dresses. And that's not how she used to dress before we met. So she has first-hand experience of how I expect women to dress. And she only gets compliments on how she dresses. So it's not like she dresses in gowns and looks like a nun. That's not the case. Am I right or am I right?
Okay. Okay.
So I don't like when women are too scantily clad. I don't support that kind of dress code. Of course, that's what I prefer. I'm not saying that you can't go around naked or scantily clad if that's what you prefer or feel comfortable with. But personally, I don't find that very attractive. I find it more off-putting. And I just leave it at that before I get myself in trouble.
Okay, so then we're gonna go with that. I guess that kind of answers my next question. Modest girls or girls who show more? So
modest girl, I prefer modest.
Okay. Let's see. I want to get to like the juicy stuff, right? Okay. Let's go left a little bit. How do you feel about women passing gas?
Passing gas how?
Passing gas
in public,
like when you're around,
space, like when you're eating or privately in the bathroom.
Either around, like where? How do you feel?
Like in what situation?
Around a man, around. Like, what do you think? How do you feel about it?
I think it's disrespectful. I think it's disrespectful.
Excuse me, it's a part of life. It's nature.
Like,
what do you expect?
If a lady wants to pass gas, well, not necessarily a lady, but anybody at all, it's not specific to one gender, you should excuse yourself and go one side, let it out, let it dissipate in the air, and then come back and continue.
But what if you can't move fast enough?
You talk about yourself?
I'm not talking about myself. I'm just saying.
Okay, so guys, let me explain something to you. Okay, passing gas is normal, but my reaction to it is also normal, which some people don't really like. They would like for me to sit in it, inhale, and enjoy the scent, as opposed to scream and run and fan.
That's love.
So that's all I have to say. Yes, it's normal, but you cannot control how somebody reacts to it when it's done around.
Okay, what do men think about stretch marks?
Well, I don't know what a lot of men think, but for me, actually I've never really had an issue with stretch marks before, so I've never really had any strong opinion on that.
Not on your body, like
I know.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't have an issue with it. I don't have an opinion on stretch mark. Like, what should the opinion be like?
I don't know. Like, I think maybe some men are like, or some maybe boys. I don't know. Maybe think, oh, stretch mark. Like, you know, your body is weird. Like, why is it like that? It may not be attractive or something like that.
No, I've never thought about it like that. I just know it's stretch marks. And that's all. Some people have it, some people don't. So that's pretty much it for me in stretch marks.
Okay. What about having body hair down there? What do you think about that? Or how do you feel about something like that?
About having the hair there?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to each his own. Some people might like it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I personally don't like it.
All right. So how about some before marriage type questions?
Okay.
How long does it take for a guy to know that the woman that they're with is the one that they want to be with for the rest of their life?
Well,
where did that bass come from?
I can't give a set time on that.
Mm-hmm.
Because for that you have to take a lot of things into consideration. So I would say when all those factors are taken into consideration, then you will know whether or not this is really the one. And this is something I encourage people to approach prayerfully. Okay? Mm-hmm. So let me talk about myself. For me, I think there had to be a connection, and not just a physical connection from physical attraction. There has to be some emotional and even say spiritual connection. Mm-hmm. And that will take different length of time for different people, but it's something that you should not rush to decide and just say, okay, I think I have a spiritual connection. This must be the one. So it's something you approach carefully, prayerfully, and with time you will know. It's not like there's no one distinctive way of saying this is how you will know and this is how it will happen, and it will happen over this period of time. No, it's not the same for everybody, and so I wouldn't be able to say give a time for that.
Okay, so then let me ask this question: when men tell women like they love them and the "I love yous" are exchanged, mm-hmm. Is it safe to assume that it's time? Like you feel what? Like they're the one?
It's time for what?
Like you feel like they're the one?
Because they say I love you?
Yeah.
Then
like
anybody can say I love you.
No, but anybody can. Mm-hmm. But if you are genuinely with someone, I'm not saying like just a random thing, mm-hmm. but if you're genuinely with someone and it's a genuine relationship and you're like, the I love yous are exchanged, right? I'm assuming that that's exchanged because you feel like this person is the one, mm-hmm. right? So why does it take so long after that to get married?
Let me tell you, exchanging I love yous doesn't mean the other person is the one. You're just expressing how you feel at that particular time. I don't think that means the person is the one.
Okay.
But it doesn't change the fact that you love the person in that moment and you really care about the person. Mm-hmm. So even though you love the person, you still need to take time to know the person more. The more you know, the better. You won't know everything, but the more you know about things that are most important, the better for you to mm-hmm. determine whether or not this is really the one. For some people, it takes living with them to know mm-hmm. whether or not they are really the one. Mm-hmm. So for some people, they just date a couple times and they make that decision and it works. Mm-hmm. So it really depends. But I wouldn't say reaching at the stage where you can say I love you, that is a good step going forward, but it's not indicative of anything permanent just because you're now at that stage. I hope my answer is clear.
Okay, so I love you don't mean you're the one. Just
No.
means that's how I feel about you right now.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Next question. Does
Does what?
Does sexual history play a role in in a man's decision to be with somebody? So I guess in other words, let's say virgin versus a non-virgin. Like, does that stuff matter?
Well, yes, it matters. And for different reasons. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, a lot of men have, well, we all have our own preferences, just like with everything else. So I would say, okay, I know guys who prefer virgins.
Mm-hmm.
I know guys who prefer non-virgins
Mm-hmm.
because they claim that virgins cause too much problems, or they are too clingy, or they can't deal with the inexperience, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have others who say, I prefer someone who doesn't have experience, especially if they didn't have any experience and they want to experience it together for the first time and grow together in that area. But with the virgin versus non-virgin aside, you also have a little bit of experience and a whole heap of experience. A little bit of history, sexual history, and a whole heap of sexual history. No, that is a different story.
Okay.
But guess what? How much you are willing to accept is really up to you. Some people will say if you've had experience with 1 or 2 persons in the past, that's okay. But if you've had with 5 or 6, they don't think they can deal with that. For some people, they don't really care. Your past is your past, and we are in the present working towards a future.
Okay.
And that's our story, and whatever that happened before is in the past. We can't change that, we can't undo that. Right? Because when you meet somebody or fall in love with somebody, you don't ask them immediately how many persons you've dated before.
You know,
or
a lot
how
of
many
people ask
persons
that.
you've been with before.
A lot of people
I
ask
think
that.
nowadays people ask, but and if that's one of the first questions you're going to ask, that relationship is not going anywhere. Even if it's important to you, you cannot approach a relationship with that at the forefront. Right?
Well, you know, some people might want to get it out of the way
To know whether or
to
not
know
they
whether or
should
not
bother.
they should bother.
Well, it's up to them, but that would show you where the priority is. Right? So, that's what I think.
Okay. All right. So, okay, coming back into, I guess, the marriage part of things. How, and you know, talking about, you know, sexual history and stuff like that. How many times a week is considered healthy or normal? Like, how many times a week do men think is a good amount of time to have sex, enjoy coitus? How many times a week?
One.
Once a week? Good answer. Good answer.
A joke. As many times as you can go. As many times as you can go is enough. That is my answer. There is no number. Sometimes because of work schedule, husband is busy, wife is busy, everybody is busy, and when you get home, when you finally have together time, you're tired. So you have to schedule once or twice a week just to make sure you get that into the relationship, keep it going, just to keep it going. But I would say as many times as possible.
As many times as possible.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. Do men talk about sex with, well, period. Do men talk about sex with either with their friends or stuff like that? Just
like male friends or female friends,
well,
or
anybody,
what?
any other friends.
Of course. Men talk about sex all the time with anybody. You've never heard guys talking about sex before?
You know what? I feel like no. I feel like I've never I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember a time where I've heard guys just sitting there talking about their relationships and stuff.
Well, if guys are having that conversation as guys, you're not going to hear because you wouldn't be there because you are not a guy. But just as our ladies get together and talk about stuff and personal stuff, guys do the same. We're humans too, and we have emotions. We talk about life. We talk about everything.
No, but when it comes to what do you talk about?
I don't know if I can say.
No, just like a general idea is what I mean.
Yeah, I gave a general idea.
How do you come up on the topic? Is it because I think for girls, for us women, it's like when we if it's something that we're gonna talk about, it goes a certain way.
A certain way.
Yeah, it starts a certain way and it goes.
Well, I'm already lost on that way
because I don't understand. A certain way, so it's brought up. It's like this conversation is definitely going to be about that. That's what it's going to be about.
That's what it is for women?
Yes. So with men, is it do you guys come up with bro, let me tell you what happened, or
what do you mean? Talk about our sexual experiences,
your sex life in
general.
In general, yeah.
Well, it would be a case where we're just having a conversation. If it comes up, then we talk about it, and just like anything else, is nothing.
I'm sorry,
special.
I cannot picture how men just.
I mean, the conversation is not going to be the same in the same way women have the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But we would have the conversation. Let me see if I can find an example. Lord help me. Not to get in any trouble or anybody to be able to say, is that my story? Was that me? But for example, okay.
Did you just think about your friends? Who
my
who am I
friends?
gonna talk about?
Support the channel. Support the channel. We're not call no name. But for example, I have a friend who had some issue, sexual issues, with his partner, and he did not come to me to complain about it, but it was more of we are talking and it came up and he started telling me what the issues were, and I gave some advice and so on. So it's not a case where we just plan to talk about sex. No, we just talk, and if it comes up, then we
that's
do.
It. That's what I'm trying to understand. How does it even come up? If we're just sitting here talking about sports, or did you watch the basketball game? I was like, yeah, that was a good move, man. I did that move in bed too. That's how I picture. When you say it comes up, that's how I picture it comes up.
No. I think a lot of women have the wrong impression or idea of how men talk when men get together and talk. Sometimes
Maybe.
it's way more emotional than you think.
Maybe.
And sometimes it's also a lot more sober than a lot of women think. So it's not just we're just joking about all the time. That's not always the case when guys get together and talk. Most times that's how we start out a conversation, joking around, whatever. But then something serious might eventually come up, and we just talk about it and get into it, and then when we finish we go back to joking, like we just didn't have a serious conversation. So that's how it is for us, based on my experience.
Okay. Alright. I'm not gonna drain you out anymore about
yes,
that.
because I'm so tired. I feel so pressured.
Listen, hopefully you guys, like, you ladies got that, or that was a sufficient answer for you ladies. Okay. Are men grossed out by a woman's menstrual cycle?
I think most men are.
Really?
Why would we not be?
Why?
Because it's blood. Most people are grossed out by blood, period.
Okay, alright then.
Yes.
So most men, you say, so the answer is most men are grossed out by it.
Yeah.
Okay, but would you go to the store and get like feminine products by yourself?
Of course, why wouldn't I? I think the men who normally have a problem with that are single men or younger guys who they don't have one steady partner, as opposed to a married man who, this is my wife, so of course I can proudly go in there and buy stuff. If someone is your permanent partner, even let's say you're not married, but that person is your like long-term partner, right? Or common law partner. I mean, there's no shame in it, but when you're young and you have a girlfriend and the girlfriend wants you to go and buy it, of course we're not going to do it. I wouldn't do it either in that sense, but now I'm married, I would do it for my wife. But or before we got married, she would never get me do it. But but now that we're married, I would confidently go and buy it.
Okay. Alright, so here's our next question. You know where this is going?
Not really, but
okay.
Since we're going
so,
there, let's go.
Alright, I'm sorry guys. I'm sorry guys, my brain just started to move. Okay, so you would buy the feminine products. Now what if something happened and you were asked to fish it out? Let me be clear. So for example, your partner is like, babe, can you pull this tampon out for me? Like, you know, maybe like something happens and you gotta pull it out. Was that something that men would be like absolutely not about, or you know, or would they be okay doing it?
Alright, let me tell you. I think talking about it, we would say gross, ew, whatever. But in the moment, we would probably act because we're concerned, because it's an emergency, it's no like a health risk, whatever. So it is more likely for us to do it, being grossed out, whether or not we like it, we're going to do it and then complain after. Or we'd like do it like this.
But it'll get done.
But we will do it. And they say, ew, that's so disgusting.
Okay, alright. Okay, so my last question, I'm gonna end it on a high. a good note.
Let's see what you call that.
So, are men really and truly intimidated by a woman's success?
Oh, we just move from left all the way to right.
Yeah. Oh, I should have said that. We're going back right now. I said I wanted to end it on a high, like, you know, outside of all the other stuff.
Okay. Intimidated by a woman's success? Well, I believe that a man should be happy for his woman's success, because if she's successful, it means he is successful. Of course, traditionally, men tend to be, or expect to be, more successful financially than the woman, but I think that tradition has been broken. So I can be successful, my wife can be successful, and success is not just determined by the amount of money you have, because if you use that to measure success, then you're going to end up in a lot of problems, which is what a lot of guys do. If the woman makes more money than him, he feels inferior because he uses that to say she is more successful than him because she's making more money. And it goes the other way too, where women are making more money than the men, so they try to be more dominant and try to be more, how to say, be more assertive in the relation. Be more assertive in the relationship, where they want to make the men feel less accomplished or emasculated. So in that case, it's not good, and it's not normally a case where men are intimidated, but because of how society is, especially about strong, independent women, we don't need a man. That kind of attitude. It's not really that men are intimidated, but it is more of a turn-off most of the times, because of the attitude that women with this kind of mentality come with most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time, especially in my experience. So just in case anybody can say, no, we're not like that, whatever. Maybe you are not like that, but I have met many who are like that. And again, most time it's not that men are intimidated by it, but it's a turn off for a lot of men. Yes.
Good answer. Okay, alright, so I'm gonna end it there. I hope that you ladies were these answers were, I guess, suitable. Can I say suitable? Or
acceptable.
Or answered any questions, any of the questions that you had. Again, if you have any other questions that you would like me to ask him, doesn't matter what it is. Nothing is off limits, right?
I have my limits.
Nothing's off limits. So anything you want me to ask him, please comment down below, or if you don't want to comment down below, you can go over to our Instagram page and send us a DM, and we'll definitely do another video. And for our brothers, uncles, and cousins, if there's anything that you would like me to answer, send them to me. Yes, send them. And I am definitely here to answer all your questions.
I hope so. I'll be coming with my questions soon.
I'm nervous. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to
like, share, and subscribe.
See you next time on Cloud Lindsay.